Hello people, it's been a while, well for me anyway, considering I think it's a pledge, no it wasn't a pledge, but it was an intention that I had when I first started my channel, was to, I think I've said it recently as well, it was to do 2 or 3 videos a week, and instead it's been about 3 weeks. I'm just being lazy. And also, my niece, she wasn't christened, but she had a naming day, a pagan ritual, so to speak, and that sort of took a bit of the, took a bit of the emphasis away from making videos and stuff. It wasn't massive, and also, don't know, just hit a bit of a wall. Been watching plenty of videos, but yeah, this is something a bit different. I just wanted to. That was one of the reasons why it's been a while. I was just determined not to make a pickups video, and all the other videos I had in mind that weren't pickups videos were a bit more difficult, and hence it sort of facilitated the laziness. So when they're difficult, it makes it easier to be lazy, if that makes sense. But this one's pretty easy. Yeah, before I go on, I just want to say if anybody's noticed something weird going on with the subs, because I don't generally keep an eye on how many subs I've got. But first of all, I do know that I'm subscribed to 124 people, and a few days ago I subscribed to 125th, but as soon as that happened, the amount of subscriptions I had went down to 122, because it's obviously on your it's on your homepage, isn't it? I don't know where those 3 went, and I'm having trouble trying to work out who the 3 were that I'm no longer subscribed to, that I didn't unsubscribe from intentionally. I know one. And I've been looking for the channel, but it doesn't seem to be there. I was thinking maybe they were closed channels. I don't know. And secondly, I've not been getting too many subs recently. Generally, that's how it happens. They'll come in little bursts. But all of a sudden, I thought I was sort of about 15 subs lower than I am. It's really bizarre. I think all those subs that I lost, or we all lost, when there was that purge a while back, some of them have come back really quickly. Because I've not been having notifications. So I wonder if anybody else noticed, because I've had sort of like maybe 1 or 2 notifications in this last week. But the amount of subs I've got, like I say, I don't really keep an eye on it, so I'm not really 100% on this. But the amount of subs I've got is quite a bit more than I thought I had. Which is a nice surprise anyway, but not that it's not that important to me, but anyway. And lastly, I just wanted to say, what's going on with people not replying to comments? Something I've noticed, and it's really annoying me. There's a certain few people lurking, going around, making videos, generally with smaller channels, and that which makes it a bit just not on. In my opinion, it's not on, man. Selectively replying to comments. I can understand selectively replying if you've got a massive channel, but not if you've only got a few subs. Deciding to reply to certain people and not others. I'm not bitter. No, I'm not bitter. Anyway, if you want to play that game, it's alright, fine by me. I won't bother commenting anymore. I'm not bitter. Anyway, this video, after all that, I've no idea. I've no idea how long I've been going, because I haven't got an eye on Movie Maker. But this video is about it's my list basically, but I mean, it's not as much of an ego trip as that sounds. it's not as much. It's not so self-indulgent. It's more to do with sort of like collecting habits. My own personal collecting habit, but also it's applicable to other people's in collecting habit in general, because we all have our own way of going about things, and my list is just my way of keeping control, because I don't really there aren't really genres of games that I tend not to buy. I will literally, I don't close off like the catalogue of games in any system that I've got because of what type of game it is. I know certain people who will go unnamed will refuse to buy RPGs and really bitch about it, hate RPGs. People who hate RPGs, people who don't buy RPGs, don't play RPGs, love to sort of justify it and bang on about it. You know, as if there's sort of like something in their mind they can't reconcile. You know, they can't really understand why other people like them. You know who you are. Gets a bit annoying, can't deny it. When you see like my favourite genre, I can't deny they're my favourite genre. When you see them being slagged off by people, you know who you are. If you're watching, you might not be watching. That's alright then. I've got my tripod, look, nice and smooth, panning. Anyway, I've lost my train. Yeah, so this is because I don't limit myself to the sorts of genres I buy. It's basically just games that I know that I'd like. Games I try to limit myself to good games. You know, I try to get an understanding of how good a game is before I buy it. You know, not generally. I don't take too many gambles. It just depends on, you know. I'm more likely to take a gamble if it's just like pence, for instance. If I saw a game that was 1p, I have done that actually. I saw a game that was 1p, didn't really know much about it, bought it, turned out to be really good. It was Mass Destruction. I've got a gameplay video up about it. But I tend not to buy games without having some basic knowledge of what they're like. So, and I mean, this is my list. This is my list here. It's just my way of keeping control. I try to get an understanding of a game that I think I'd like, and I put it down on my list. I put it down on my list. I don't know how many pages. How many pages have I got? 5 pages worth of. This is on my Word document, and it's just my way of keeping control of games I buy. It's a bit geeky because it's all colour coordinated. I don't know if you can see that. It's all colour coordinated. I've not got a key. I'm not that bad. There's no key to the colours. I already know because it's for me. I don't really need the key because I know what they mean. But yeah, it's quite organic because this is ever changing. It's ever changing. I mean, I'll pan all the way down. It's quite extensive, and yeah, this obviously from different systems. We go all the way down to the bottom. There we go. It's quite extensive, but it's not 100% effective because I have noticed that I won't say it's not often, but I buy more games that aren't on this list. So obviously it's not 100% effective, and it's obviously based on sort of what games I can remember to put on, what games I think that I like the look of. Some games I don't really know about, but I've looked into them. They've got a decent reputation, and I've put them down. I thought that looks good. But it's basically to stop me making the mistake of buying stuff because it's cheap. It has to have the idea that that I'd like the game first. I think I'm confusing the matter, which it's understandable because I don't think this is this so-called list of mine isn't totally. It is a bit confused in itself. which I'll try and demonstrate. Here we are. Yeah, so I'll focus in. Because I've got my camera on my tripod, and I should be able to control the zoom from the arm. But every time I connect the arm, the tripod up on the arm, the controls to the camera, it cuts the camera off. So I'm having to use my other hand. I'm panning like this and use my other hand to zoom, which is really irritating. But anyway, yeah. Games. Priority list. See, it gets a bit keen. That's a bit keen, isn't it? Priority list. Sounds a bit strict. Priority list. It's a bit more relaxed than that sounds. But this top list here, I'll just pan down slightly. This list here. See, going off the page. There we go. See, that list there, that top bit, it's the games that I would like to get the most. But I've thought about this list. I've thought about it and I've looked at these games. And if I was to tick all these games off, if I was to scrub them out, I do enjoy scrubbing them out. Say for instance, if I buy a game like Broken Sword 2, for instance, I bought that. Well, I'd sent it back because it was knackered. And you can scrub it out like that, and then delete it, and the list gets shorter. I quite like making the list shorter, but they don't often get removed. I couldn't say that if I was to get rid of all the games in this top priority list. Priority list. I couldn't necessarily say that would make me happy. In some ways, I'm slightly envious of people who go for full collections, full catalogues, because there's no grey area. There's no grey area. There's no sort of you're not working out trying to work out what games you would like and what games you wouldn't like. There's no sort of grey areas of a genre. Because obviously I have preferences. Sports games I'm less likely to buy, but I don't limit myself to not buying sports games. I will buy a sports game if I like the look of it, but it's not something that I do often. I do like to have a bit of variation in my collection, and that's probably my justification for having a sports game. Certain sorts of sports games I'm more likely to buy. I've got a couple of golf games. I've got Everybody's Golf 1 and 2 on my PS1, but it's not often. Like I said, it's not often that games get ticked off this list. But this top, I don't know how many games that is. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 PS2 games. This top section here, they're all PS2. Excuse me. So that's 8 PS2 games I would like to get. I'll keep my eye out for. But some of them are slightly unrealistic, like Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. It wasn't released in the UK, at least I don't think it was. And it tends to be really expensive anyway. Rule of Rose obviously was released in the UK, but the UK version is ridiculously expensive. So these aren't necessarily realistic. And that's part of the reason why they're in the priority list, because they're sort of an ideal, so to speak. Some of these, they do tend to be quite expensive, these games. I mean, these prices here are all, these in the brackets, they're all CEX prices. Some of these never pop up as CEX, for instance, like Echo Knight. Maybe you'll get one a month in a branch in CEX, and it's always another part of the country. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns is never in CEX, either as Rule of Rose. Graffiti Kingdom, not really. But that's my priority for PS2. And like I said, this list is organic, so it gets added to, depending on if I've seen a game that I like and I've looked into, or it is confused. I'll give you that. I will concede it's confused. I think that's sort of where I'm sort of going a bit wrong, because it's almost designed to get around the confusion of games I want to buy and games I don't, without going too wild. But it in itself is confused. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. So, for instance, I've got this priority list here, priority, and all these 8 games are the games that I would particularly like. But within these eight games, some of them have got stars next to them, and I think that's because they're sort of slightly more realistic. Like Graffiti Kingdom, for instance, does turn up on eBay, but you'll go weeks without ever seeing one on eBay, and it's not too expensive. And Echo Night Beyond as well. I think they're sort of like the pinnacle of games that I'd like to get. Samurai Aces is cheap. If I was willing to pay the money, it's easy to get. Echo Night Beyond, again, but people tend to charge a little bit too much for it on eBay or Amazon. But some of these, for instance, like I say, Fire Pro Wrestling or Rule of Rose, are just ridiculously expensive. And then we've got the PS1 games, and there are games on this list. Again, the star is sort of the slightly more attainable games. Or no, again, can you see how confused this is? It's sort of like a priority list within the priority section, if that makes sense. But again, this is the sort of the more sought after ones. Strider 2 in particular, Clock Tower, I would really like, but it looks great. I've read reviews, but I couldn't be 100% because obviously I've never played it. It might play like a dog, and so a couple of years ago I saw 2 copies on Buy It Nows and eBay pop up quite quickly after each other, one after the other, and they were $17.99, which is a good price. I missed out twice because I was too slow. Ever since, they've been around about the sort of 30, 35, 40 quid. So I've been holding back on Clock Tower because of those 2 copies that I saw that went for $17.99. But these Red is my PS1 games that I really like. Again, it's like I said, it's organic. Some of them are there to finish off like a range, like Street Fighter Alpha. I've got 2, so 1 and 3 are on the list. Some of these games, like for instance Chocobo Racing, I don't know how good Chocobo Racing is, but it's obviously it's Final Fantasy themed, and it's desirable. But the game itself isn't supposed to be that good, but it's expensive, and that in itself creates a bit of a grey area. It's designed to focus me. This is what the list is. I think this is the point I've been trying to make after however many minutes I've been rambling on. Designed to create some sort of focus. Considering I don't have the focus of, I don't necessarily have the focus of collecting for a full set, or collecting to reach some other milestone, like games that I used to have, which I do. I am looking to get games I used to have or I have played in the past. But I'll just pan down. The rest of the priority list is GameCube. So they're just basically standard GameCube, like Twilight's Princess on the Zelda on the GameCube. It's expensive, obviously, it's expensive. So is Mario Superstar Baseball. But Luigi's Mansion and Double Dash, they're 10 a penny, and they shouldn't be too difficult to get cheaper versions. I think I've had about 3 or 4 copies of Double Dash from charity shops, just because of how many it sold when it was first out, and it's just, you always like to see one in a charity shop, just for sheer volume. But this is where it gets slightly different. This is my reserve list. Reserve list. Oh, here we go. Sorry, reserve list. That's better. You can see it now. I'm keep forgetting to look through the viewfinder. This is my reserve list, and this is just a list of games that, I wouldn't be too happy. I wouldn't be too unhappy if I decided to stop collecting without ever having a copy of these. But they're the sort of games that I would, I wouldn't mind having. or being at least having a copy, having a copy to play, for instance. And it's not a massive PS2 list of my reserve list. But this top section was basically like I said, I think you can see there, Eurogamer Cult Classics. There was an online article about cult classics, and there was a long list of games that aren't necessarily well-known games, but they're underground, they're sleeper hits, so to speak. And I took a selection of those, and they're supposed to be generally pretty good games, but and there's this section here that's basically, I don't know, there's some on there which I'm like, a Zombie Virus sounds like a good game. So, like for instance, sounds like a good game, but it's a bit of a budget title, and it could be rubbish. I've got Zombie Virus twice. Hey, how'd that happen? There you are. You see it live. This is live and what's it? Live and un. Oh, I can't remember anyway. Here's an interesting one, Ephemeral Fantasia, because I've sort of attempted to get the majority of RPGs on the PS2, but Ephemeral Fantasia is down there on this section of the list because the reviews weren't brilliant. It sounds a bit of a broken game, a bit of a confused game, and I wouldn't be too unhappy if I never played it. But this it's there for sort of completist, for reasons of completism, if that's a word. But also, I don't want to dismiss it offhand. I'd like to give it a chance. It's got a great cover, nice anime cover. Samurai Showdown Anthology. I don't think you can get that in the UK, so that's there, and all these fighters. But here's my. Oh, actually, I was thinking of using this list. I'm intending to do just a quick what's the word? Trades video. So this will be a good list to check. If anybody's got any of these games and they say it's something that I've got, you can use this list. Obviously most of these are quite difficult to get hold of, and most of these are really expensive, like Tombi, for instance. Tombi's only there because I don't really know. I'll just spat on the screen. I can see a bit of spit. Yeah, look. Tombi's only there because I don't really know whether I'd like it or not, and also it's an expensive game, so it's not so much of a priority. But so this is sort of less of a priority, these games here. I hope you can get a good shot of them, And Trash It. So Trash It was the most recent addition, because I saw somebody selling it on eBay, and they were asking something ridiculous, like 50 quid for it, and I googled it. I looked it up on the rest of eBay, and there was only about 3 copies, and they're all expensive, and it doesn't often sell, and it's not a game I've heard of. So I checked it out on YouTube. The videos didn't make it look brilliant. I couldn't see any reviews, and so, but at the same time, eBay gives you the impression that it's uncommon and maybe sought after and goes for a bit. So this is there just to remind me to keep an eye out for it, And it's like games like Cooler World, all these games, and some of them are like Grand Stream Saga. It's sort of like an action RPG, which isn't supposed to be brilliant, but again for the reasons of completism. And then we've got Mega Man. I would like a Mega Man game. I've got Mega Man Legends, but they're so bloody expensive. And this whole Mega Man set here, how many is that? That's 6 games. Is that 6? Yeah, that'd probably set you back, if you were going to buy them all in one go, like 200 quid or something. So, I'd probably limit myself to one of those. But if anybody's got one and feels the need to trade a copy of Tiger Woods Golf for it, feel free. I'm open to suggestions. This isn't Jaws Unleashed. This is Xbox here. This is Xbox. The pink, nice pink Xbox. Jaws Unleashed. It's an interesting game because I thought, yeah, I really want that for my Xbox, but I had it on the PS2 and it was rubbish. And Ninja Bear Hug did a gameplay of it and it looked rubbish, and he sort of pretty much said it was rubbish. But for some reason it goes for money, and that sort of piques my interest when things are sought after like that, because I think there must be a reason they're sought after. But and then there's all these other, like Castlevania, Curse of Darkness. They're all games that I wouldn't bust the gut to get, but I would quite like to have. I think that's the difference between this top section and this lower section. I would like to have, but I wouldn't bust the gut to get them. There you go. In other words, I'll buy them if I see them in a charity shop or in cash converters. So there you go. Some of them have been added back to the list, I think. Yeah, for instance, Metroid Prime 2, because I used to have that, but I traded it, so it went straight back on. I don't know why these are underlined. I think that's to emphasise the, I don't know. Like Chibi Robo, there you go, 30 quid. Or Kirby Air Ride. They're sort of scarce, uncommon. I won't say the R word, because that's only for Antiques Roadshow. But they're there. They're just basically to keep them in my memory, so I don't forget. I keep an eye out, so to speak. A lot of these are in my I've got bookmarked on Amazon, and also in my saved searches on eBay. I think, have I got? No. And then at the bottom, my most recent addition is my sort of the DS wanted list, and with a nice little blue icon for import onlys. I hope you can read those. Can you read those? Yeah, they're easily readable. But there you go. I'm going to scroll down, and that's it. That's it. I'll take you right back up to the top. I'm just going to do a quick scroll, just so you can have a nice butchers. At it in all its magnificence. You know. Remember, I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do a trades video, just on the off chance that somebody might have one of these and they might want something that I've got. And although I think, judging by what I've got on the list, you know, it's probably unlikely, so it'll be a totally pointless trades video. But anyway, you know, it won't hurt to give it a punt. But if anybody's got Kirby Air Ride and they want to give it to me, that's, you know, feel free. That's Wii there, green, and this is DS. Oh yeah, I said that, didn't I? There you go. That Suikoden Tear Christ should be right at the top. So you see, like, again, it needs adjusting, needs looking at. I do tend to take my eye off the ball where this is concerned. And it's like Retro Game Challenge. Woodlin mentioned that in one of his videos, so I thought that sounds interesting, and I've checked out some videos, and it looks pretty good, so I put it on the bottom. And Sands of Destruction, that was Retro Sofa, bought that, and I checked it out. Again, that's pretty much how it works. So there you go. That's the bottom. That's the DS section. So I can't really. I forgot what the point of this video was. It was meant to be sort of like it's sort of like the psychology of collecting. I mean, how do you keep a rein if you're not a full set collector? How do you keep a rein on? Do you have a list like this? Do you have a list in your head, or do you have it written down? Is there a set of games that you're aiming towards? You know, in this sense. Again, like I said, this is my list. My own personal list is confused. You know, I can't deny it's confused. Like this video, I'm generally confused. if you watch my videos, you'll get that. I exist in a permanent state of confusion. But anyway, there will be a trades video coming up, and probably a pickups video in the next week, because I bought quite a bit. That's the thing, actually. I just wanted to there's a point I wanted to make, because I've got a few pickups, and the vast majority were never on this list. So it's almost irrelevant, pointless, confused. Say how you will, but which means sort of this list is entirely separate from my subconscious, which is a whole new video anyway, isn't it? So if you enjoyed it, well done. Why? If not, anyway. Thanks for watching. I mean, maybe treat it as a tag video. I mean, if anybody has something similar, or wants to talk about some sort of a set that they're working towards and why, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? But treat it as a tag video, maybe not. I would quite like to see some other people's responses. That'd be interesting. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll keep an eye out for this trades video that I was mentioned about 5 times in the last minute, and a few other videos aside. Apologies, it was so long since my last video, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Adios.